Hello everyone, this is Daniel AG and welcome to my SQL Server 2022 Database Administration, Database Programming and SQL Server Business Intelligence Training Program. Before we start the class, we need to install SQL Server 2022 on your machine. So in this video, I am going to explain from where you can download SQL Server installation files and what are the different steps you need to follow. Not only the SQL Server 2022, in this program, this video, we are also going to install the SQL Server Management Studio as well. Okay. So let's start. So to make things very easy for you, I already downloaded the files needed for installing SQL Server 2022 and SQL Server Management Studio, the latest one. So this is what my OneDrive link is. I'm going to put this OneDrive link in the video description. You can get that link from there. You need to go to this link to get all the installation files. Now, if you want this link emailed to you, feel free to send me an email. This is my email address, ag.daniel@embeddeddatasystemscom, or you can give me a call. This is what my cell phone number is. This is my WhatsApp number as well. So you can either send me a chat, a text message or a chat, or just call me. I can send you instruction and the link from where you can download the SQL Server 2022 installation file. So let me take you to this particular OneDrive link. So so when you click on that link, so this is where this is what my OneDrive. So you can see there are three files. The first two files is to install SQL Server. The third one with the file name SSMS setup. This is for SQL Server Management Studio installation. So as the first step, we need to do is we need to right click on each of this file and download it. Right click and download, and right click and download. So one of this file is 1.5 GB. So if you have a faster internet, definitely going to be downloaded in 5 minutes. If you have a slower one, you need to wait. So I'm going to post my this recording. We will resume the recording once the files are downloaded. So stay tuned. All right. So we successfully downloaded all the three files. So let's go to the download folder. So open the File Explorer and click on the downloads. So you will see that these three files are downloaded. Okay. One thing you need to make sure that is to ensure the files is successfully downloaded is you need to verify the download file size you see on your machine is same as what I have on this video. So if you see a different file size, that means the file has not completely downloaded. You need to wait more, or you can re-download the file. Okay. So once all these three files are downloaded, the next step is that we need to copy this file into a separate folder. We don't want to install these files directly from the download folder. So you go to, you highlight each of this, you check this checkbox. Once all the three files are checked, you right click on it, and then you can say copy. Now, once the files are copied, you go to the C drive. Here we need to create a new folder. So you right click on any of this white space and then go to new folder, then give a name for the folder. You can give whatever name you want, but I prefer to give it as SQL Server 2022 installation files. Okay, so that's what the folder, and then go inside that folder, right click on the white space and then click on this paste. All right, so you can see three files here. So let me explain what these files are. The first two files to install 2022 SQL Server, and the third file SSMS, that is for installing the Management Studio, that we will see towards the end of this video. So we need to create the binaries, SQL Server 2022 binaries. Binaries means the files needed to install the SQL Server 2022. So what you have to do is that you right click on the second file, or SQL Server 2022 dev x64 ENU, and the type is application. Okay. Don't right click on the box file, right click on the application file, right click and then run as an administrator. And it is going to ask, hey, do you want to allow app to make changes? Answer is yes. And then it is asking you whether you want to extract this box file to create the binary. So you simply click OK here. And the extraction process is happening behind the scene. You can see that it created a new folder here. Eventually, all the binaries are going to be in that folder. Let it complete. So after the extraction process completes, it's automatically going to open this SQL Server Installation Center. If this particular window hasn't opened, what you can do is that you go inside this folder, newly created folder, you see this setup. So you set up with a green icon, right click on, and then run as an administrator. Now you need to do this only if the the installation center didn't open automatically. So click on run as an administrator, wait for, so it's going to say, okay, do you want to make changes? Yes. So it's going to open that SQL Server Installation Center again. So this is your SQL Server Installation Center. So the Installation Center has a lot of features. We will visit each of these features during our training program. But at this point, you need to go to the installation on the left-hand side. And you can see there are multiple blue links. You click on the first blue link, says New SQL Server Standalone Installation. So click on that. Wait for a second. Okay. So we need to go through on the left hand side. You can see these are the different steps we need to go through during the installation. So step number one, you need to select the edition. So we are going to select the developer edition. So the developer edition is same as an enterprise. The only thing is that you cannot use it on a production environment. You can also go for evaluation. Only issue with evaluation is that it is only valid for 180 days. After 180 days, you need to uninstall and reinstall it. We don't want to do that, so I'm going to install the developer edition. Old days there is a fee for using the developer, but now it's completely free. Okay. Now if you have a product key available from your employer or from your office, you can click on it and then you can enter the product key as well. So in our case, we are going for a developer edition, which is same as enterprise. So feature wise, click next. Okay, I'm not going to read through this fine prints. Click next. It is trying to go through this. What it just did is that it went through the product update. Well, we have the latest product update, so that is good. Installation setup files and installation rules. So it's behind the scene. It is installing some setup files, everything, checking some rules. Everything is good. Okay, so if you see the green tick mark here means everything is good. Validation doesn't fail. But in case there is a red into mark, give me a call. We can look into that. Now you see this yellow warning. So this is a warning message saying that the Windows firewall is enabled, but you can simply ignore it. It's just a warning message. Okay. Now, if you want to get a detailed report, what exactly SQL Engine checked behind the scene, you can click on this View Detailed Report, and it's going to open a new browser. And so these are the things, some of the things it actually validated. Now that report is useful if one of the go to this View Detailed Report, and it is going to show you more information what went wrong. Now, if something went wrong, you fix it. You don't need to start over again. You simply click on this rerun. So it's going to revalidate things you already fixed. All right. Anyway, so in our case, we are good. So I'm going to click next here. All right. So one of the key feature of SQL Server 2022 is well integrated with Microsoft Azure. So we are not going to link this instance to Azure right now. We will do that later, okay, during the training program. Or with additional courses you will take with SQL Server administration with a SQL, Azure SQL, etc. But we will revisit this later. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck this. Okay, now Click next. So when you are installing SQL Server, you are installing a bunch of features. What these features are, we will see in detail later. So these are the various features. So I'm going to, you can click on select all, and you can continue with this. So if you ever installed prior versions of SQL Server, you see a difference in features in the previous screen. So there are some changes there if you ever worked on previous versions of SQL Server and then installation part. So I'm going to go for click on the named instance. So when you are installing SQL Server, you are installing an instance of SQL Server, and every instance should have a unique name associated with that. So in this case, I'm going to give a name. I'm going to say prod um, 500. Okay. You can give whatever name you want. Make sure that there is no space, no special characters. Okay, so prod 5000, and click here. So the instance ID and the name ID. So every instance is going to have a unique instance ID as well as the instance name. In my case, it is going to be prod 500. Click next. So I prefer everybody use prod 5000 for 500, because when later in the training program, when we create, when I give you sample databases along with the script to attach it, so if you all use the same instance name, that is convenient for everyone. Okay. All right. So click next here. So we are in the instance configuration part. Now click next. You can so this is poly based configuration. You can simply click next. All right, so here you can click next here. Well, those options, these services, we will have a detailed discussion on these various services. For this particular video, I'm not going to explain each step. So my primary goal is to have your SQL Server installed successfully, but we will revisit what these services, etc., at later point. So click next here. Okay, so database engine configuration, important. So in the authentication mode, click on mix mode, and enter a password which you can remember. Make sure that you remember this password, okay? Now, another important step, you want to click on this add current user button. So click on add current user. Okay, so your current Windows user is added here. Now, there are other tabs here. In the class number 2, we are going to revisit this installation. So at that time, we will explain more on what these tabs are. You don't need to make any changes in this tab. We will come back and revisit it in class number 2. Okay, so now go and click on next. So analysis services, click next. Oh, sorry. We do in the analysis services, you click on the add current user again. Click next, 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 and I'm going to install it. So this is, so we actually went through, knowingly or unknowingly, we went through all these steps, and then now we finally ready for the installation. So here it is going to give you a summary, what are the things we selected. Okay, so this installation, when I click on this install button, depends on your computer muscle power. It might take 15 minutes to 45 minutes, depends on your computer resource. So I'm going to click on the install, and then I'm going to post the video, and then I will resume the video once the installation successfully completes. Okay, so I'm going to click on install button here, and I'm going to post my video. All right, guys, good news. The SQL Server installation completes. You can see a lot of green tick mark here, indicating that these are the various features successfully installed. Nothing failed. So, and you can see the status says installed successful. Now, when you are installing this, in case you see some red into mark, that means that feature failed. So if you see any of the feature failed, what you can do is that you can see a blue link here. So this is the log. You need to go to this directory and then email me this log. Okay, and then we can and then give me a call. Then we can actually troubleshoot what went wrong. And then there are hundreds of reasons an installation can fail, so we need to troubleshoot. But make sure that before you call me, you copy this. This txt file need to be emailed to me so that I can have a better troubleshooting on what went wrong. All right, so here I'm going to click close here. So the SQL Server 2022 installation successfully completes. You can actually close this SQL Server installation center as well. Now, once this is installed, what you have to do is that you go back to the C drive, this folder you created, and right click on the last file. Now, the second part of this installation is going to install the SQL Server Management Studio. So right click on this SSMS setup ENU, right click on it and run as an administrator. Wait for the installation window. So click on yes here. Let's wait. It's trying to open the installation file. All right. So it opened the SQL Server Management Studio installation. Now you have to be a little bit patient because it might take like a couple of minutes to open this this window. All right. So you simply click on installation or install and wait for a couple more minutes. It takes some time to install. It depends on your computer performance. So I'm going to post the video. All right. So another good news. So it installed the SQL Server. We installed the Management Studio. It says that okay, it need a restart. You can just ignore it. Maybe you can restart later. So you can simply close this. You don't need to restart it. Okay. So I'm going to click on close. And now we need to find where the SQL Server Management Studio, because this is the SQL Server Management Studio is what the tool provided by Microsoft you can use to connect to your SQL instances. So go to the search and then search for SQL Server Management Studio 19. So you can open this. If you are opening for the first time, it is going to take some time. Let's wait. So the SQL Server Management Studio is open. So this is how it's going to look like. So couple of things. It automatically going to show you your machine name as well as your instance name. So instance name is something you provided during the installation. So if you don't see this here, or if you're confused what's the instance name, you can always use the drop down, browse for more. Okay, expand the database engine, you should be able to see your instance. Now, due to some reason, if you are not really seeing this connect to server icon, so this is how your Management Studio open. Okay, you don't see that connection window. You come here, you can see a connect, use the drop down and select database engine. Make sure that you select database engine, don't select any other options. Okay, database engine, that will show the database engine. And authentication, you are going to use the Windows authentication and click on connect. All right, so you are connected to that instance you installed. If you are not familiar with this, don't want to worry about it. We'll be talking all these things for 90 hours. So yeah, so it also comes with some default databases, etc. So this is what you need. So you already, so if you followed this or you are up to this point, you already installed SQL Server 2022 and you also installed the Management Studio. So one of the questions I always get is that I already have a SQL Server installed on my machine. It might be an older version. Can I have the 22? Yes, of course you can. You can have multiple versions of SQL Server installed on the same machine at the same time. You don't need to uninstall it. So it's going to be as long as the instance name is going to be unique. So that's all. If you have any difficulty, feel free to reach out to me. I'm pretty open to my students. So call me, email me, and then we can figure out what went wrong. So that's all from this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you enjoy the video, you followed the instruction and you're successful, you please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as you give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. I will see you in the class tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.